Hello and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager 2 stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me as always is Jeff,
Hey everybody.
producer of Franchise Hockey. And we are back today playing as the 1980 Winnipeg Jets. We have drafted, we have added free agents, we have rebuilt the team from nothing into a little something maybe
Slightly
hopefully
better than
good at
nothing.
some point.
We're trying to stay out of last place this year. We didn't have much of a first year last season, although the real Jets were historically bad in the season we're about to play, so we'll see how that works out. Uh, right now we're just getting set up for the beginning of the regular season. We've got a few exhibition games that we have to get through. And I think we set up training last week, and we'll probably have a couple of more things to do before we get rolling into the regular season. But as we're doing that, we'll play these exhibition games that are coming up. I think the first thing we should probably take a look at is our scouting, because I completely forgot about that last year. I think we set the scouts out on one trip and then forgot to reset them when they came back. Oops. So I will go back into the scouting screen and take a look at the scouting ratings. I want to pay attention to the four scouts that I've got here. The first column is ability, which tells you how good they are at evaluating how good a player is right now, and the second one is potential, which tells you how good they're going to be about evaluating them in the future. So we want our top potential guy looking at the guys in the upcoming draft. So what I will do is assign him to a job, and I will specify draft eligible for the upcoming entry draft. And other than that, I think I'm going to set it for, I want it set for potential. I'm not going to filter it at all because we want the whole draft. And I'm also going to set it for quantity, which means he's going to try to go through everybody every available player for the draft before he circles back around and starts taking a second look at guys, just so we get everybody evaluated. The draft list isn't going to be incredibly long because we're in the historical game right now. And the only guys, well, for the most part, the only guys showing up in the historical drafts are guys who actually played in the NHL, because they're the only ones in the database right now. And if we were playing a modern game, the draft class would be much bigger, and I may instead tell him to prioritize looking for the best players first and get a good scouting grip on them, and then before he moves farther down the list. But in this case, we're just going to set it for quantity, and he's going to look at everybody. We will set this, let's say 8 weeks to begin with, so 2 months. We should get a report back at the end of that, because I'm going to set it for end of assignment. And this time, when I get the email that the assignment is ended and the report, I will remember to reassign them in this case.
Now, how many scouts do we have here, Jeff?
We've got 4 here.
Okay, should we consider adding somebody else, or is 4 enough?
4 for the historical game is probably plenty. It's not like you've got the modern game where you've got a bunch of different leagues running and various minor leagues, etc., etc. So it's okay. Not really anything. You don't really have more to scout than 4 guys can handle. So I will send him to the first one. Let's see, we've got one guy who's average, and 2 guys who are a little better at evaluating guys as they are right now. I think
there looks like one guy we could pick up who might be a little bit better, for sure.
You're looking at the scouting?
Yes, I am. I'm looking at
the team personnel screen, yeah.
If we could add Jan Meyer, who's excellent for the low cost of $8,500 for 3 seasons.
Yeah, 60 years old. He may retire on us partway through there, but we'll might as well pick him up.
We also have Wilson Johnson, who's age 53, who might come on for
a little younger, but well, let's go with just a 1 for now. And back to the scouting screen. We will send. Well, I think I'm going to have. Oops, need to go to the scouting screen, not the personnel screen. And I will assign him to pretty much the exact same settings as the first guy. So I want 2 guys keeping an eye on the draft. I'm going to probably put at least 1 guy on the NHL and probably one on free agents, and I'm not sure what I'll do with the last one just yet. But same settings, 8 weeks, end of assignment, and potential and quality. Oops, looks like I didn't set that first one properly. Let me redo that.
Okay.
And there we go. So you can see now we got 2 guys assigned to the upcoming NHL entry draft. Still the amateur drafting these days, but it says entry draft in the game. And I'm going to put Manier, specify him just scouting the NHL in general. Also for quantity, we want him to look at every player, but I'm going to leave that on current ability. And
Okay.
I'm going to set him to a little longer scouting cycle since I've got no real reason to have him cycling back frequently. And the last 2 guys, Sawyer McCrank, what a name. Going to point him at the free agents, and going to actually look for potential over quality there, and potential over ability there. Shorter cycle again, and he's assigned. And we got this last guy, Gilchrist. What do I want to do with him? Don't need anybody on the free agents. If I was playing a modern game, there'd be a point to setting him to a region. But since we've only got the 1 active league in the historical, there's no real need to do that. I think I will set him to, let's say free agents as well. I don't really need another guy on the NHL.
Okay.
And same cycle. Okay, so we've got all these guys set to scout. They will start scouting soon. And hopefully this time I don't forget to assign them when they report back in.
Perfect.
And we got a game today against the Islanders. I will just leave Actually, I think I want to make 1 change in the lineup here. Ron Flockhart, we just drafted him, and so had a couple. First wasn't too great in the first couple of exhibition games, so I'm going to drop him down to the reserve list and bring up Dave Hoyda, who played the whole season for us last year, and that will give us a little bit more physical play on the wing, and we'll see what the AI does with that.
All right. 1 question there on that. We also have Dave Babbage not in the lineup. Are we comfortable with that?
That does not make a lot of sense now. And see, for some reason the AI is in love with Craig Norwich. Oh, probably because he's set as a right defenseman. Who can I move over to the right side? Is Waters? I'm just going to flip through all the defensemen quickly and take a quick look at the right defense rating on all the guys that are currently playing left, and probably take the one with the highest one. Scott Campbell is 19, so that's a pretty good candidate. Babbage is 17, and Coffey 17. And I do want to keep Coffey and Babbage separate, I think, at this point, because they're both rookies, so I am going to swap Campbell over to the right side. And yeah, they move Bill Nyrup, who wasn't dressed either. And see what we get here.
And a lot tougher when you only have 19 spots for guys on your roster.
Oops, let me... Yeah, it'll be the season after this one will be when they go to the full 20-man rosters that we have nowadays. But for now, we've got kind of got to work around having 1 fewer player than normal in the lineups. There we go. That looks like still insists on playing Campbell on the left side. We've moved Waters to the right one, but we'll go with that and see how we do against the Islanders today. I'm just going to sim through this game. instead of playing it directly. And we lost 3-2, but hey, it's the Islanders. They're a pretty great team. This in real life, this would have been them right at the beginning of their dynasty. Didn't quite work out that way last season for them. But we wound up losing 3-2. Not too bad. Outshot fairly badly. Looking at the game scores, let's see. Yeah, see, Bill Clement, I'm starting to worry about. He's going downhill in a hurry. Hoyda, who we just added, didn't have a great game. Top couple of lines look like they did reasonably well.
Well, that's good.
And did we get any stars in this game? Ron Wilson. A couple of assists, not too bad. And that puts us, let's see, we've got 4 more exhibition games before the start of the regular season. 3 of them at home, and Philadelphia is the next day. Got some news here. What did we get? Rick Martin's injured, Al McAdams injured. Nothing that really affects us much. And I'm going to simulate, whoops. Did I have an injury here? Uh-oh. That's not good. Starting goalie is hurt. Cross your fingers. I'm going to see what kind of an injury we've got on Brodeur. It's just a sore elbow. He's out for 11 days, which, let's see, that would take us to October the 9th, and opening night is the 10th. Okay, so he should be healthy just in time for the opener. So I'm going to have to bring up a backup goalie, which will, looks like Pierre Hamel is the only other 2.5-star guy available, and well, at least Hamel and Matson will get a little bit of playing time, and we'll see how they develop. But this is probably going to be, oops. Have I got too many active players? No, I don't want to put on thing. Yeah, Brodieur's injured. I'm just going to send John Markell down to the minors temporarily to clear a spot for Brodeur.
Sure, that makes sense.
And there we go. How did the Flyers game turn out? And we won. We beat the Flyers 8-5. Not exactly a defensive masterpiece, but hey, I'll take it. We got outshot 43-31. That's not bad, not good. So the goalies definitely showed up in this one. Hamel played reasonably well. And it looks like we chased Phil Muir halfway through the game. But decent game scores all the way through. Scott Campbell did not have a good game at all. And, wow, Thomas Steen, we were wondering about whether or not to play him this year because he didn't start playing, I think, in real life until the season after this one. But 2 goals, 2 assists.
Not bad.
What line did the AI have him on? And that's playing on the 3rd line, too, so I'm kind of liking the way this is shaping up. I got some mail. Just Dave Taylor of the Kings is out. And what are we looking at here? Rest of the exhibition season. Now it's... Well, we got the Leafs next. Had kind of an unfortunate game against the Leafs in the other game, which we kind of don't want to repeat here. I think I'm going to simulate through that one too. So what I'm just going to do here is hit the spacebar a couple of times. It takes us to the first. Oops, we've got, oh, that's our development report. Let's have a little look here. What's, still mostly pluses. A lot of the young guys you can see improving. Coffee picks up a little bit. Brodeur gets another mental point. That's nice. Mel's declining. Uh-oh, that's kind of worrisome. Morris Lukowicz, who's our best player right now, has lost a couple of points. So hopefully that isn't a sign of things to come. Have to keep an eye on that situation. But that does remind me of another thing I want to do before we end the exhibition season. Re-sign a couple of the players to extensions that are going to have expiring contracts at the end of the current year. But let's see how this game against the Leafs turns out. And a 7-3 loss.
Of course.
So I think we should stop playing the Leafs and these games broadcasts. It's not working out too well for us.
That's for those of you who don't know, Jeff and I are not anywhere near, so we share saves when we're doing streams. So
Yep.
I'm playing with his save, a little bit different time, but it helps us to see what's going on and compare notes to see how different things. And it's actually been very close. But I just saw I'm a day ahead, and I just saw a very interesting trade happen here between Toronto and Buffalo. In my version, Toronto sent Lars Lindgren, who's a left-handed defenseman, 27 years old, who's a 3-star talent, a 3-star potential, to the Sabres for Derek Smith, who's a 4-star talent and 4-star potential, although he's a B versus the other guy who's an A.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty decent trade for the Leafs. I mean, this was the era where they were trading Sittler off, trading Tiger Williams off, and Tiger Williams, Gordie Howe hat trick in this exhibition game, goal and assist, and so he wound up fighting Dave Hoyda.
Well, I was just wondering, I know we're not super strong, but if we could possibly get Derek Smith in your game here now, maybe put the Leafs the same type of offer, see if that happened to work.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Let's take a look at the Sabres, and
again, it was
he's actually 3.5 stars in my game. So
okay, so well, he's rated a B here, so maybe that's 3.5 might be more, but that's still better than what we have.
Yeah,
so if we could throw one of our extra defensemen at him.
Maybe throw Nyrop at him. We just signed him as a free agent last year, but the AI doesn't seem too inclined to use him. And we've got a few young guys. Or actually, we've got Craig. No, was it Lindgren that the Leafs traded in your game?
Just let me check here quickly.
Yeah, yes, 3 stars. They had him on the trading block. Let's see. I'm going to try offering them Norwich first for Smith and see if they bite on that.
They might, just because he's a little bit cheaper or a little bit younger.
It's a possibility, yeah, and we just don't really have a spot for. Norwich had a good season for us last year, but with Coffey in particular coming in, we don't really need another offensive defenseman that can't really play defense at all. And they don't like the offer.
Interesting.
Or at least my scout thinks they're not going to like the offer. Let me try pulling that down and see what he thinks of offering them Nyrop. And it's a well-balanced offer.
Well.
So I think actually if I get Smith, he's probably going to wind up moving over to the wing for us. If I remember correctly, he can play a little left wing too. So let's offer that.
Smith is rated as a on the left wing, so.
Take a quick look. Yeah, he's got an 18 on the left wing, so he can play there.
Well, he'd be an improvement for us, anyways.
Yep. Well, I made the offer. Let's see what they do with it. And it looks like we beat Edmonton 4-3, so we bounced back a little bit from that loss to the Leafs. And we got one more game left against... Whoops, that's not me, that's the Sabres. One more game left against Calgary. The exhibition season, so I will... Oops, and we got Jorgen Pettersson hurt. It's one of our free agent pickups in the offseason, and it's the ugly red star and intercostal strain out for 3 weeks, so he's not going to be around for the beginning of the regular season. And with 3 weeks, I am going to put him on the injury list.
Injuries are just
and I'm just going to leave that. I'm not going to bother calling up anybody yet at this point because I think if we're assuming we get Smith, he'll just go into the spot that Pettersson was in.
If we get Smith.
Yeah, still no response back from Buffalo. And we beat Calgary 9-4. So.
All right.
Typical 1980s hockey. 13-goal game. And we've got some news here. And the Sabres say no way to Nyrop for Smith. So I don't think we're going to get that. Anyhow, we were coming around to the beginning of the regular season, and I've got space on the roster. I'm going to call John Markell, who we sent back down earlier, back up, just temporarily. Or actually, well, we'll get. I think we should be getting Brodeur back. He's saying 5 days, and the regular season starts in 5 days, so he may not be back for the opener now. We'll see how that works out. I'm gonna just hit spacebar a couple of times and advance forward. And we got our scouting report. Hasn't found anybody yet. I'm going to just leave that as it is for now. And we got the season preview, which notably we don't get mentioned in at all, of course.
Well, we probably shouldn't be.
So just for anybody who hasn't been watching so far, Minnesota was the Stanley Cup winner up this year. They upset the Canadiens in the final, and it looks like the favorites this year are going to be the Islanders, Canadiens, and Sabres. And Minnesota picked up Tony Esposito in the offseason, so not sure how much he has left in him, but that should make them a contender. Gretzky obviously going to be the scoring leader, with Trottier and Dion in there. And we'll see how we fit into the picture, but we're not even worth mentioning at this point. Let's just hope we get Brodeur back. I'm going to hit spacebar one more time, and if that red cross here doesn't clear, we're going to have to go with one of the backups for the opener. And lo and behold, it has cleared.
Woohoo!
Pierre Hamel is going back to the minors. And I will just set up the lineup to begin the season. See what the AI wants to do with it, and if there's anything we need to change here. No, that's actually not too bad. That's pretty much how I was looking at it. Got Steen, the rookie, playing on the fourth line as a center. And do we have an opening night game? I didn't even look at that. Yeah, okay, we're playing the Capitals, so we beat in the first exhibition game, and who, if I remember right, looked pretty rough lineup-wise. So let's see if we can get a win in this first game here. We'll play that out. Got a lot of rookies in the lineup. I think we've got literally one guy over 30. And I forgot to, I was going to re-sign a couple of free agents, but I'll check those contracts as soon as we're out of this game. And I think we've got 3 or 4 guys making their debuts tonight. I will set that to, let's just go with the scoring summary to start with. For the first period, and if it's close in the last couple, I'll slow it down a little bit. And there we go. Looks like the AI didn't dress Dave Babish tonight. That's kind of a surprise, and I think we're going to have to do something about that. Maybe I will switch over to doing manual control of the lines. Or at least the roster lineups. It's going to do strange things like that.
Well, why wouldn't want to start one of our first-round picks?
Yeah. For some reason it's in love with Craig Norwich. And I just, no sooner have I said that, the Norwich sets up our first goal of the season. Oh, what do I know?
Put Norwich on the trade block.
Yeah, we motivated him. It's a pretty good start. We're actually out shooting Washington. We were up 15-7 at one point. Wound up being 15-11 at the end of the period.
I'm going to say that's all Paul Coffey.
Well, let's check on that. Paul Coffey, first period in the NHL. Well, he had 2 shots. Didn't do much else of note. 1 takeaway. Game rating's okay so far.
Well, that's good.
So far, so good for coffee. Nice and steady. And let's see how the second period goes. Shots are all over the place. We didn't. I had quite a few from the slot, and looks like we may be getting another one here. There we go. Just snuck by Dave Perro in the Capitals' goal, but we'll take it. It's 2-0.
Excellent.
I mean, this is a terrible team we're playing, but at least it's a reasonable.
Everyone's important.
Yeah. And Berder just let one in. Unfortunately, looks like the Capitals got a power play goal there.
That's gonna happen.
So 2-1, and it looks like this one may be close enough for me to slow it down in the third. And what's going on? There we go. 2-2 and 2-2. We blew the 2-goal lead.
Of course we did.
And it looks like we're going downhill in a hurry. We had, 13 shots in the first period, and I think we're getting outshot by about 13-4 in the second. And something's happening here, though, for us. We're cycling a lot. Take a shot eventually, somebody. And Lukowicz gets the goal. 3-2.
All right.
Looks like we woke up a little after letting those 2 in. See if we can hang on till the end of the second. Nothing so far, and wow, we're getting. Take a look at the shot total at the end of this period, but we got killed. Yeah, 3-2 end of the second, about to start the third. 34-20 at the end of the second period on shots. Not impressive. 23-5, we got outshot. It's not like we're giving them a bunch of power plays or anything. What's going on with our lines? Tim Waters not having a good game. Hoyda we called up, not looking good at all. See, it's the first couple of lines again that are doing okay, it looks like, and then everything after that, we still need a lot more depth.
Of course.
And that'll come eventually, and I'm going to take this down to condensed action for the third period, so we'll see a little bit more of the play-by-play, and we're not going to have the suspense ruined by only showing the goals. So when it does break into the play-by-play here, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a goal like it was in the mode that I had in a little earlier. Good Lord, Gord Lane breakaway. Not exactly the most offensive defenseman in history, but he blew it. And it looks like we may be coming out of that. 3-2. Hopefully we can hang on to this lead and get a win in the first game of the season.
It'll be close.
They're doing pretty much everything better than this at this point, out hitting us. Fewer giveaways. Face-offs are even at least. And Capitals penalty. Let's see if we can take advantage. And they've only got a 2-man advantage there. And almost had a tip in. Looks like it went out of play. And yep, we blew the 2-man advantage. At least the shot totals are looking a little bit better after that period, or after that power play. We're back up to 30 for 37 for Washington.
Okay.
And 10 minutes left to go, and counting down. So far, so good. Let's hope we can hang on to this. But the Capitals are doing something in our defensive zone again. And nice block shot by Tim Waters, apparently. And that got us out of that. So it looks like Waters improved on his first period performance a little. Still 40 shots in the game against a really mediocre team. And Capitals have pulled their goalie. Oh, the Capitals hit the post with 26 seconds left.
Whew. That is close. Much too close.
They're still hanging on to it. And deflected over the glass. That's good.
In in the previous draft that we did a couple episodes ago, which you can find that episode archived on our YouTube, which is youtube.com/OOTP Developments. We ended up drafting Paul Coffey and Dave Babbage, but we didn't get a goalie.
Oh, we did get a goalie, but not until the really late rounds, where it's probably going to take a little while for him to evolve. We got Brian Hayward, and it looks like Coffey took a penalty right at the end of that, but we managed to hold on and won that one 3-2.
Excellent. But one of the things I've been looking is to see if we could get a goalie to improve somewhere to help us out. And wow, did we get outshot? I see here 41-32. That hurts.
Yeah, that stings. Let's see. Nobody in the cap. Marook had a pretty good game for the Capitals. Their first line was looking really good. Coffey, pretty good debut. 82 rating. No points at all, but played 25 minutes. So yeah, if you're not gonna, that's a little bit much for a rookie, I think. But scoring's pretty much spread out. Nobody had a really terrible game. Waters really turned it around. Got his score up to 58 by the end of the game. He was in the 40s earlier. And Jimmy Mann had I think the lowest rating on the team, but got into a fight like he's supposed to. So good enough.
Yeah, of course.
And we win the season debut. But what I'm going to do here is go over into manager options. I'm going to leave the tactics on the assistant, but I'm going to go with the set the lineups myself for now. And we're going to make sure Dave Babbage is getting into games from now on, and Norwich, even though he did get a point, is getting scratched next time out.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, what I was saying before about looking for a possible upgrade in net, I found a trade you might be interested in.
Okay, what do you got?
Well, the Vancouver Canucks have Glenn Hamlin. Is that how you say that name? Glenn Hamlin in net.
Ex-Wheat King.
We can get, yes, former Wheat King. We can get him for Nyrop, Pierre Hamel, and Mark Plannery.
You're basically asking me to steal from the Canucks here. It's kind of funny, actually, because if we do that, we're going to wind up with Hanlon and Brodeur in goal, which was what the Canucks had, I think, for this season and the next one before they finally traded Hanlon away. I think I'm going to hold off on trying that because Brodeur he seems to keep developing. I think we may yet get him up to 4 stars, just because he's getting.
I don't have a problem with him starting. It's more I'm looking. Would love to improve our backup situation. I'm only 2.5 stars. But hey, if you're happy with it,
I'm going to leave it for now. We'll see how we're doing. If we're having problems with Matson, not improving, or if Mel may surprise us.
But it is there. I had to add in from Vancouver. They sent Rick Blight as well to make the trade fair. Yeah,
Rick Blight. He'd had Blight was a good player for the Canucks at one point, and then he just dropped off the face of the earth. And they wound up giving him to Toronto for. I'm not even sure if they traded him. I think they might have just let him go as a free agent. They got pretty much nothing for him.
Yeah. Well, he's only 2 stars, I believe, at this point. So.
Yeah, he had completely fallen apart. He had. I think 76 or 77 was his last good year, and just nothing after that.
Yeah. The trades are out there.
Schedule here. But what I will do, we got a game tomorrow against Pittsburgh. I think we'll just send that. I am going to put Nair up on the trading block, and we'll see if we get any offers for him.
It could be interesting. Is there anyone else we could add to the trading block, maybe, who's angry?
Just looking right now. Before we do go to that next game, I want to look at some of my contracts that are expiring at the end of the season. Let's get a deal done for Lukovic, because he's probably our most important player right now. I will offer to renew the contract, and he wants a very reasonable $43,000 over 3 years. And I'm just going to meet that. I will... go along with that. No obvious problems that I see there with what he wants. That's the response. He's happy with it, and I will submit that. So I think we'll be getting Lukovic extended. Willie Lindstrom, another decent player. I mean, we got to hang on to as many of these 3-star guys as we can, because we're still dressing some guys that are, borderline 2.5-star players. Lindstrom, 2-year deal for 21,000. I will see if I can lowball him a little bit on that. Take it down to 19,000 and see if he'll go for 3 because he's 29. He's getting a little older. And I think the real Lindstrom managed to play pretty decently until the mid 80s, but not going to take the chance on committing to longer than 2 years. And he says no, so he's really sticking to that 21.5 request. Okay, we'll give it to him. It's not like we haven't got extra budget room right now.
His nickname is amazing, by the way. I'm just going to point that out. Willie the Wisp.
Willie the Wisp, yeah. And, okay, Matty Hagman, who we signed to, we only signed him to a 1-year deal last. Oh, yeah, we signed him at the beginning of the season, so it was a 2-year deal.
Yes.
And, ouch, he wants $80,000 a year. Yeah, it's getting up there.
He's good, but I don't know if he's $80,000 good.
I'm going to take it down to 60, but I don't think he's going to go for that.
Oh, he's 3.5 stars. He's one of our better players.
Oh, he's incredibly generous. He's going to go down to 79.5. Thank you, Matty.
Well, I think down a bit.
Yeah. I'm going to sit on that one for a while. I don't know if we want to spend. So that would be our. I mean, we gave big money to the rookies. Just sorting by salary there, but nobody on the team is making anywhere near that amount aside from Babbage and Coffee.
Well, you try 71, see what he says. At a later time if you want.
Yeah, I'll give him a month or so and then come back to it, I think. But we got Lindstrom and Lukowicz signed. So those are the key guys. And we've also got a few good young centers, so I'm not going to worry too much if we have a season problem re-signing him. Hopefully he'll get a bit more reasonable as the season goes on.
Well, most more reasonable as the year goes on, right?
Yeah, and I will sim to the end of the day. And we got Pittsburgh today. I'm just going to sim through that. I will clear the line, see what the assistant wants to do with them. And see, now it's 1-0 now. He's going to give Babbage a bunch of playing time that he gave to Coffee in the first game.
Of course.
And there you can see the 2 new deals, Lindstrom and Lukowicz. So we've got our winger situation set up pretty nicely for the next few years. And we will sim this game against the Penguins, who I don't think are too great at this point. 11-7. Now that is a 1980s hockey score.
Absolutely.
Wow, somebody must have gotten a whole bunch.
I kind of want to see how the points are breaking apart there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. We outshot him 38-34. Well, first period alone is 5-4.
Excellent.
And we got the points for us. Morris Lukowicz celebrates a new contract with a 6-point game. 1 goal found. Okay, I didn't forget about that. Dave Christian, double hat trick. 6 goals.
That's amazing.
Ties the modern record.
Need to make sure we get a nice screenshot of that for later on.
Yeah.
6 goals in a game. That is impressive.
I can come back to the score and screenshot that later, but yeah.
He was on fire.
Yeah. Even Jimmy Mann got an assist.
Well, he would have to at some point, wouldn't he?
The only problem is we also let in 7 goals, so I think Melrose got an absolutely brutal game rating. Waters didn't do very well either. Dave Babbage 2 assists in his first NHL game.
You know, it's the 1980s when there's 11 goals scored on your team and you still have minuses.
And it looks like we actually wound up pulling Brodeur after the 4th goal against us in the first period. And Mattson kept us in the rest of the way.
You probably should have got pulled.
Penguins went with Robbie Holland for the first 8 goals. Ouch. And we even did most of that on the at even strength.
Ouch.
Christian, 3 goals in the first 4 minutes and 39 seconds of the game. 5 goals in the first period.
And Randy Carlisle's playing Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Future Winnipeg Jet.
Yeah, 1 goal, 1 assist. -3 for him. He was actually looked like one of the better Penguins in this game. But more importantly, we're 2-0 to start the season. I don't think we had anybody injured in that game, so I think I'm definitely going with this lineup next game. We've got nobody tomorrow. Who's coming up after that?
2 wins. Is that more than what we had last season?
Almost. It's probably more consecutive wins than we had at any point last year. And we got 6 days off now before we go play against Chicago, so I will just...
It's definitely not current NHL when there's 6 days off between games.
Yeah, we'll just autoplay up to the next one. And there we are. Nothing of note has happened so far. Let's see, I'm almost tempted to play this one, but what's coming up? We've got... What do you think? Do we play this game, or do we play against the Nordiques in a couple of days? I'll sim one and I'll play the other.
I'd say we go to the Nordiques. Might as well stick with it.
Okay, just going to sim that one then. And, of course, we lose 4-2.
Well, that was going to happen at some point. Can't win every game.
Great. Babbage had another good game for us. Coffee was -2 this time. Barry Melrose is brutal this year. 45 and 39 game ratings in the last 2 games out. Matty Hagman apparently had a pretty good one. And Christian a couple more assists. So Dave Christian red hot to start the season. And wins this Nordiques game is tomorrow. So sim forward to that. Do I want to change anything? I think I am going to make one small change here. John Markell is going to be scratched. I'm going to give Thomas Steen. Has he played an NHL game at this point? Oh, he played a little bit for us last year. That's right.
Yeah, right at the end when we're dealing with injuries.
Going to address him, see what the AI wants to do with a new forward lineup. Yeah, that looks pretty reasonable to me.
In the chat says you can schedule page.
Yep, you can sim from literally anywhere. I was just hitting the space bar there. So but you can always just click on finish today, and that will, I won't do it here, but that will sim through it. That will sim wherever you are, or just hit space. That's a shortcut for it. Yes. Unless you're, like literally typing something in and using the space bar as text. But Nordiques Jets in Winnipeg. Actually, we probably should have played the Hawks game because that was our home opener, but oops. And we got some news before I start here. Anything important? And just a couple of minor leaguers traded between Edmonton and Vancouver. Down cuts for Rob Tudor. Not a big deal. And let's see how this Nordiques game goes. Richard Brodeur, former Nordique, starting for us. And no really significant milestones about to happen. Nordiques are 2-2-1 to start the season, so they're looking decent this year. Gilles Bilodeau, great WHA goon, but didn't play much in NHL. They've still got him in the lineup here.
Of course.
And they don't have the Stasnys yet. So they're still going mostly with the WHA guys, Michel Goulet. And then this train wreck of a defense that they've got. It's mostly guys they picked up in the expansion draft, if I'm remembering right. So I think we should be able to win this one. I will continue on to the game, and we'll just do this the way I said the first one. We'll go with the scoring summary for the first couple of periods and see what we get here. But, all in all, pretty good start to the season, 2-1 for us. Yeah, that Nordiques lineup is looking really thin. I'm surprised they've won 2 games with that already. I'll watch them run up a big lead on us to begin with. I think they're about to do something here. It's in our zone, unless we get a sudden breakaway. It looks like this one's going against us. And Robbie Fatorik puts the Nordiques up 1-0.
Well, that was going to happen at some point. What penalty did Paul Coffey take? I missed that.
I missed that too.
See him in the box.
I have to check the box score in between periods. And yeah, they're, for a bad team, they're not exactly intimidated by us. I'm shooting us 11-4, 11-5 at this point.
Ooh.
And we got the, okay, great, it's happening in our zone again. Robbie Fatorek's line again. And he tips one in, second goal of the game.
Of course.
Yeah. Not great. So we're hopefully going to be no worse than down 2-0. Oh, no. Oh, we got something happening here. Let's see if we get something going. Paul Coffey gets his own rebound. And is that his first NHL goal? I think it is. Yep, that's first NHL goal for Paul Coffey on his own rebound.
All right.
And ends the first period 2-1. Let's see what exactly happened there. Okay, yeah, he had a hooking penalty 2 minutes into the game, and that's where they got the power play from that they scored the first goal on. And the only other penalty was Jimmy Mann and Gilles Bilodeau fighting. Not an incredibly impressive period for us.
Ratcast says in the chat, I'm getting a new PC for work, which should allow me to play this game even more during non-work hours. Of course.
Yeah, of course. It's not like you can easily tab away out of this game and when you have to get back to work.
Yes, that's never happened before.
Yeah, we should add one of those features that pops up a spreadsheet on your screen as your emergency key.
The game automatically goes to spreadsheet mode.
Yeah. And going into the second period, let's see if we can even it up here. And Robbie Fatorik gets a hat trick 2 minutes in. Yeah.
Of course he does.
So not doing great against the XWHA team here. Wow. I think I may need to look at juggling the lineup around a little bit after this one.
Well, maybe there's some guys getting tired or something. Too tired.
Tired. We were down 2-0 halfway through the first. If you're getting tired that quick, we got a problem.
Crazier things have.
Shots are even. And Dave Christian gets one for us. And are we going to tie it up before the end of the period? 10 seconds left. Dave Christian. One time ran. Lukowicz tips it in to tie the game up. And we actually came away with the lead on shots out of that period. So you just had to threaten to juggle a lineup, and they picked it up. Pretty good all the way through here. Coffey's having a great game. Goal and assist, 3 shots. Had a hit, so he kind of woke up after taking that early hooking penalty. And I will switch this down to condensed action. We'll see how the third period plays out.
Well, the coach probably yelled at him after taking a dumb hooking penalty.
Yeah.
As he should.
And Thomas Steen makes it 4-3.
All right, making it interesting.
So can we go 3-1 to start the season? Not a bad turnaround. I don't think we're going to match what you're doing in the modern game, but don't think we're going to be looking at a top 2 or 3 draft pick this year, at least, if the first couple of games are any indication. And Brodeur steals a goal there, so still 4-3. And Tim Waters actually gets a rare breakaway chance there, but didn't convert on it.
Well, it's going to happen. At least we picked it up in shots by the looks of it.
Problem is, looks like we were doing okay in our own zone, and Steve Larmer wound up with a breakaway. Looks like I think it was Nordique's first rounder that year, and ties it up 4-4.
Wow.
Dale Hunter takes a penalty for Quebec, though, so maybe we can...
Looking at the stats here, we're doing very well on face-offs.
yeah, 29-20. See if we can get a goal while Hunter here is in the penalty box. Speaking of Hunter, he's coaching in the Memorial Cup, which we were talking about a little earlier. It starts tomorrow. Yeah. I'm
Very excited
kind of liking Brandon's chances.
Yeah, it's if you're not watching junior hockey, you're kind of missing out.
Yeah, it should be a good one this year. A lot of offensive talent this year, which kind of worries me about the WHL teams because neither one of them has had great goaltending in these playoffs. Red Deer, the host team,
showed up every other game. It seems like.
Yeah, and I think London. Don't know about the Rwanda goalie, but London's is decent, and London's just got a stupid amount of talent. 2 probable top 10 picks this year, and then a bunch of high draft picks from previous years, and they're going to be tough to beat. Brandon's probably got the next best chance.
Well, they got the likely number 1 next year.
Yeah, Nolan Patrick. Crossing my fingers for the Canucks having another rough year and having a shot at that.
Well, hypothetically, too, they might have the number 1 the year after as well if Stelios Matos keeps improving. The way
Is he supposed to be that high? I didn't think he was going to be. Trying to remember who the high,
it's
2018
he's improving
guys.
all the time, so it's hard to say. He's got a long way to go, but
and this game's still 5-5 late in the well. As soon as I say that, naturally, we score. And who got it? I missed that one. Ron Wilson. Not to be confused with the coach, Ron Wilson. And can we hang on to it with 1:45 left? Possibly not. Oh, Doug Smale blocks the shot. But nope, Brodeur lets in another one, and we're tied 6-6. So yet another typical early 80s score here. And is anything going to happen in the last minute? Or nope, we're going to get a tie. Let's have a look at the box score and see how that happened. Robbie Fedoruk, not surprisingly, 3 goals, 2 assists for the first star. Peter Marsh, who was, I think we were double shifting him, but he was mostly on the 3rd and 4th line, gets a 2nd star, 3 points for us. Not the greatest game for Brodeur, so I think I will switch the lineup and let. Brodeur actually got pulled at the end after the 6th goal, or was it the 6th goal? Yeah, the 6th goal. And Matson played the last few minutes. So totally lost faith in him there. Coffey with another couple of points. So we are 2-1-1 to start the year, which isn't terrible. I think I'm going to try and sneak in another sim game against Buffalo, who we were trying to trade with earlier. So I will finish today a couple of times, and 21st, no, 22nd. I'll get 22nd. Do I want to make any lineup changes here? I'm going to sit Tim Waters for this one and put Nyrup in, see if we can. Haven't had any trade offers for him yet, so see if we can generate any interest there. I will leave the rest of that as it is. I think. Actually, I'm going to swap Wilson and Clement around. I don't want Bill Clement on our second line. And I will sim that one, and I'm guessing... Ouch. That is not a good way to lose to end the broadcast. 11-4 loss against Buffalo.
Well, time to play one more game, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Oh, boy. Brodeur, 9 goals against. Danny Gear and Eddie Johnstone, both with hat tricks for Buffalo. Oh, boy, those are some ugly game ratings. Who did we put in? Nyrup, we just put in, scored once, and actually had a decent game. Although he does have the worst plus-minus on the team.
Now, Craig Ramsey. Is that Coach Craig Ramsey?
That is Coach Craig Ramsey, yep. Sabres are actually, they were mentioned as one of the cup contenders in that match at the start of the year, and I can kind of see why. That's a pretty good team.
Yes, it is.
A lot of future coaches on that team now. They look at it. Lindsey Ruff, Jim Schoenfeld.
Okay, I didn't realize Lindsey Ruff would be playing it.
Yep.
Did he actually play with Buffalo? I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. He was with the Sabres for a long time.
Okay.
Small trade between Boston and St. Louis. But what's our next game coming up? Oh, great. We got the defending Cup champions North Stars. You sure we want to go ahead and sim through to this and end it on that one?
Absolutely.
No guts, no glory. Let's see what we get.
Here comes a big win. I can feel it.
Well, Jorgen Pedersen is back from the injury list, so we'll get a little help at least.
Gotta love it.
And I'm going to sit Barry Melrose out and put Waters back into the lineup just because Melrose, I didn't even look at his last couple of scores, but he had really rough games at the start of the season. And which forward I want to sit down to make room for Pedersen. Let's give up a little toughness. I'm going to scratch Dave Hoyda and put Pedersen in the lineup since we're having all these 7-8 game goal games anyhow.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad choice. Thomas Steen's still in the lineup.
Maybe I will leave Bill Clement on the second line since that experiment with him on the third one didn't go too well. And we got a couple of minutes. I think I'm gonna sim this, or I'm gonna play this one. That's not until tomorrow. That's why.
See what happens.
I will just leave it on scoring summary through the whole thing, and if we're down 4-0 at the end of the first or something, I think I may accidentally bump the sim end button.
We can sim through a period too, see what happens.
Yep, I'm going to go through the first one and just saying hopefully we're not going to get some ridiculous number of goals against us in this first period. And naturally, Cicerelli looks like, Neil Broughton gets the goal, so we're down 1-0 40 seconds into the game.
Dino.
Okay, at least when we're made for a penalty kill. We've had one shot and it's from our own side of the ice. That's not promising. 8-1 shots for the Stars. North Stars, sorry.
One of the best names ever to play in the NHL, though. I love Dino Cicerelli. What a great name.
And
great
looks like
former Red Wing.
And Ron Zanussi makes it 2-0. We're even giving up goals to the fourth liners now, and we're down 12-1 on shots after not even 13-1 before the end of the first period. Yeah, I'm starting to question your judgment here about wanting to see this one. And it's now 3-0 at the end of there, with 2 minutes left to go in the first period, and shots are 14-1. All the goals are from the...
sim through the second and see how it goes.
Yeah, okay, I will sim through the sim period. I'll do sim period end here, and that will...
Rackcast asks, is Manigo in net?
Cesar Maniago is a little bit past that era.
Yeah.
Gilles Meloche for the Stars, and see, we managed to make it out of the second period, only down 4-0. So, and shots
are a few more shots.
Looking even better. So I will play this, and we'll see if we can break the Minnesota shutout before the end of the game. Not really counting on it. I'm just hoping we don't get completely humiliated in the third. And Dino Cicerelli gets a goal, 5-0. Oh, go on. These are the defending Cup champions. And we are finished second to last year, so probably shouldn't have had too many expectations for this one. But come on, probably guys, let's at least get one before the end of the game.
Oh boy!
And it's that first line killing us again. Broughton again.
Gotta wonder what the defenseman's plus minus is looking like right now.
And looks like Tom McCarthy tipped one in from Steve Payne. 6-0. Yeah, because these aren't even happening on power plays. This looks like all full strength stuff.
I keep seeing Paul Coffey being out for the
And
last
7-0 after the breakaway goal. Oops, accidentally hit Sim and even 8-0 final score. Well, that was humiliating.
Maybe go one more then, see if we can go one.
At least we gooned it up a little bit. There's 3 fights in the first period. And no, that was all there was. So we calmed down after that. Game scores look pretty, Tim Waters, who I just put in, rewards me with a -3 and 33 game score. Peter Marsh, who was second star in the previous game, 28. I think that might be the worst game score of the season. And stars are looking pretty good across the board. Matson's getting a bunch of playing time this year, but it's all coming on relief when Brodeur gets shelled. So I'm thinking maybe we think about making that offer for Hanlon.
Well, we could.
Although we're getting outshot badly regardless. Do we have a game? We got a game again at home against the Bruins. So, okay, well, taking Waters back out of the lineup. Putting Craig Norwich in, since we're going to give up a bunch of goals. We might as well try and score a bunch. And
both of our goalies' fitness is not very good. Ooh.
Yeah, ouch. We're probably going to get hurt on that. Thomas Steen can get benched again. As Markell played this season? Yeah, he did, and he hasn't done too badly. Hoyt is actually not doing that bad. I'm going to put him back into the lineup. Looks like the AI wants to put Coffey down on the third defensive pair, but I will sim that game against the Bruins. And we lost, but it's only by 6-4. So after 2-1-1 start, we're now 2-4-1.
No.
Christian, another decent game, 3 assists. And Brodeur got pulled again.
Well, it looks like we should consent goaltending trade.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a topic for the when we come back to this in a couple of weeks. Just having a look at our scoring through the first 7 games. Dave Christian, 17 points in 7 games. So if it's not for him, I don't want to think about what our record looks like. Lukowicz also getting a lot of points. Matty Hagman making a pretty good case for that contract. That whole first line's doing great. Coffey is -10 through the first 7 games, which isn't that fantastic, but 5 points. So, Dave Babich is actually plus, and he's putting up some points. So the rookies are doing okay.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Any other major problems down there? Ouch, Bill Clement continuing to worry about that decline. -10 in the first 7 games, only 1 assist. He's Jimmy Man, but he's just there to fight. What are Brodeur's stats? Just looking on the pop-up. 6.59 goals against average through 7 games for Richard Brodeur. What's Matson doing? Matson's actually got a goals against average under 5.
Well, maybe a perfect time to trade him then.
Man, that's... We knew we weren't going to be great defensively this year. Where are we in the division right now? Dead last in the division. Looks like the Red Wings are worse than us in the league. There's a couple of teams with only 4 points so far, so we're not that terrible. Washington, who we beat in the opener, has picked up a couple of wins, so they're even with us. But I would not be counting on a playoff spot this year. And anybody doesn't look. Oh, Montreal's off to a pretty good start this season. I'm just going to take a look. At the league stats, Rick Vive for the Leafs is leading with 23 points. Or is he? Oh, no, that's Canucks. Hey. Yeah, he hasn't been traded yet. And you can see a few of the usual names. Robbie Ftorek, who had a bunch of points against us. In there, Dave Christian, 11th overall, even with that big point total. Has man managed to make it into the top 10 for penalty minutes? Nope. I don't think we've got anybody in the top 10 anywhere other than Dave Christian in the points leaders. Not seeing anybody, at least. And just going to take a quick look at the team stats, although I know this is going to be kind of brutal. Worst goals against average in the league, 6.29, by a full goal ahead of the next worst team. Oh boy. And goals per game, though, we're in the middle of the pack. Yeah, 4.29 per game. Canadians averaging 6.9 goals a game.
That is deadly.
And not much in the way of injuries yet. How many shots are we? Yeah, second worst shots against per game, only ahead of Detroit. And shots for, we're right near the bottom two, so we're actually lucky to be as high as we are in the scoring because we're just ahead of Pittsburgh for dead last. So yeah, that's 1980 Jets. There's still work to be done for sure. And I think we can just going to advance this a couple of days. We've got another shot at the Blackhawks, and that's where I will leave us on the a couple of news items here. Nothing too interesting. Butch Goring gets hurt. Winnipegger.
Yes.
My cousin was actually his winger one year in minor hockey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, probably the easiest year Rick ever had playing hockey. Basically just knock in all the passes he got from the future NHLer. And I think Goring was still wearing that same helmet. I think they were probably 11 or 12 at the time, and he used that one all through the NHL as well, an ancient cardboard thing.
Yes. Not very safe by today's standards.
Yeah, probably. No, don't think you get CSA approval on that one.
No.
But we're 2-4-1 to start the season. Could be better, could be worse, but I think we can wind it up there, and we will get back to this in a couple of weeks. Or,
right.
Yeah, I think that's when we'll pick it up, depending on what else we have to do before now and then. Just want to remind everybody, if they haven't, we put out a hotfix update for the game last week. If they hadn't picked that up yet, you may want to. That'll just fixes a couple of minor things with the playoff seeding that weren't working properly in the modern game, and some of the historical years, and also changes some of the historical budgets in the period just prior to the game that we're in right now. If you've been playing with the previous patch, you may have noticed in the roughly the late 50s through the late 70s, teams' budgets weren't quite high enough, so they weren't necessarily being able to sign all the players they need to. Well, they could sign enough players, they just couldn't sign some of the good ones, so they were drafting guys and may not have been signing them if they were really tight up against the budget. But that should fix that problem. But I think that is pretty much everything we need to cover here. Adam, anything you can think of?
Not at the moment. A few more things in the fire, but nothing we can talk about yet.
Okay, so if you want to let everybody know how they can find out more about the game if they're interested.
So we stream this game every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/OOTP Developments. This stream will be archived on our YouTube, which is youtube.com/OOTP Developments. You can find us on Twitter at Franchise Hockey. You can find us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager. You can come to our developer forums if you want to talk about the game, about just regular hockey, or come talk about Out of the Park baseball series that is being worked on by the same development team, which is ootpdevelopments.com. And I Anything? Am I missing something, Jeff?
No, that's about it. See what the score is in the Tampa-Pittsburgh game tonight. Last was 0-0 last I saw.
4-1
Oh,
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh won.
Nice.
Pittsburgh won 4-2, so they're up 2-1 now.
Yeah,
No,
very interesting.
Pittsburgh-St. Louis final might be interesting.
It might be very interesting. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. And we will be back next week with the 2017 Jets as we go into the playoffs.
And hopefully don't get knocked out in the first round. Knock on wood.